Okay, so if this turns into an abnormal candle, I will be fading that.
Okay, what is
In fact, I probably
Meaning,
will.
meaning shorting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anytime I say fade, it's
Getting
going
in
the
early?
opposite direction
Yes.
of the candle movement.
Yeah, because it's
Right.
such a big candle, it's going to go back a little bit, right?
Right.
That's the theory.
The theory is that I'm good because this is like a floor right here, and if I can get my 2 pips above that floor, then I'll stack them all day long, right?
Wow, look at you go.
So I'll get in about half a position right
See,
here.
I'm not that aggressive anymore.
Well, it's not necessarily aggressive because look, I'm
Because your
only
risk
in-
is really low,
My
yeah.
risk is really low.
I can't really see your screen too well because
So
the glare.
So I'm stacking. Is that better?
It doesn't suck.
Yeah, but it's still going.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
Well, I'm also liking the wicks. So
Because, like, for example, that one gave you a lot. That's a tweezers or whatever over there.
So I'm lugging these wicks. We'll see in 23 seconds where this candle ends.
So you actually want wicks because wicks means that it's kind of getting some push
Pressure,
back.
right?
Yeah.
Some pressure.
Still going. So basically,
Go get me a button up. I'll pay for it. I
if this
swear.
thing
I
goes
brought
very
cash so I
far
can get a
from
real
you,
shirt.
You will keep stacking, and then as you make winners, you will peel some of the one of the bottom. Okay, so
So-
now it's time to see it.
So what I'll do here is, because it depends on what this next candle is going to do. If I'm going to get another shot up, which I'm still going to sell,
Yeah, because you're close to the top over there.
I'm close to the top. But if it breaks that, then I'll start adjusting these guys. Does that make sense?
Is that kind of is that inspired by the thought that, like, the more something goes this way, the more likely it's going to go the other way?
The underlying principle to this technique here is probability.
Okay.
So what's the highest probability that this is going to do? And if it breaks this, then that means that that trade right there is become now a low probability of it being profitable. So I'd rather take a loss on it. I'd rather take a loss on it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I still think I'm in a good position. So let's see, I'm on sells, check all, continue, and I might have just hit my. So I'm going to lay them all right there.
So you have to do this every time. You can't just set it and do it once on the magneto thing.
No, you got to check all. Because you either got to check all of them or individuals.
Okay.
And I can't do it because it took my technique.
Oh wow, look at
I
that.
took them all anyway.
It took them all anyways.
Oh wow.
Does that make sense? So I
Yeah,
was too
but
slow
nice,
on
man.
that.
Way to go, dude. That's
So
awesome.
I was too slow on that, where I knew that it was going to come down and kind of hit that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take my take profits and put them all right there.
And that was all Euro USD. Wow.
So some of them I'm making 2 pips on, and some of them making 3 pips on.
Right.
And some I might not even be making 2 pips, but at least they're profitable.
Right.
Do you know what
Well,
I mean?
yeah.
And you're
Anything-
and you're doing
anything
20 or
green.
30 of them a time, so
Right.
there's
Well,
So that's one of the
So-
things that really I wanted to get in on the interview, but I didn't. Is it what you guys do? Like, I never
So
thought
it's-
about doing a bunch
so
of
you
little
see,
ones before.
You know, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Yeah.
And now this is where your average winners are a lot more than your average losses, right? Because you're getting so many wins. Like literally, I'm scrolling down.
Yeah, but okay. So the issue that I have with wins versus losses, I have a lot of 2 and 3 pip wins, but then I'll get like a 10 pip loss because I've either had to peel it off
Yeah.
or I've taken a big hit.
That's because you're not taking these losses right here. So you see that? The last time I took a loss was the 20th of February,
wow.
right? So
And that was nothing. Like altogether, not 4 or
right,
5
and
pips.
so you still do take big losses.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took some big losses last month.
What I've had to do before is kind of finagle the B line.
Like right here, I stacked a ton of trades on, but I was trading 0.01s. But I stacked a ton of trades on, and I took them all off because they weren't in good positions. So once I like a ton of losses right there, but they're still not very big, right? They're like all my losses are less than 2 pips.
Yeah.
Like here's
when
this is what I consider a big loss to me.
Right.
This is when I'm like, okay, it's gotten away from me, and it's probably was like 10 to 15 pips in the negative.
Right.
And so I set my take profit to be at 5 pips negative, and to take me out as soon as it hits that.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that way at least you're getting a smaller loss out of it.
That's
'cause,
why
like,
I'm minimizing that loss. I'm
Right.
minimizing that loss. Instead of taking a 10 or 15 pip loss, I'm taking a 4 pip loss, right? So,
So when
but
I'm
still,
modeling,
you can see I'm winning a lot more than I'm
oh
losing,
yeah,
right? So, you know, here we are back in January, but whatever. So a lot of scrolling. But this is how I trade, 2-3 pips at a time.
And how long do you think you trade for in a day usually? A couple hours?
No. Like, look, I've been sitting here. I'm
Right.
already up 0.24%. So how long was that?
Not
10
much.
minutes.
So I go for about 1% and I shut it down.
Nice.
So about an hour,
Yeah.
less
Cool.
than an hour. So right here,
Yes.
you can kind of see it starting to get into a triangle right there.
That means it could bust out.
It could break out, and I would anticipate it to still go up because we're still in an oversold.
So when you get your abnormal candle, you don't necessarily wait for the candle to finish. Then, if it shoots up, you're selling right then.
Yeah, you see that how I did it on that one and that
Oh, yeah,
one.
that's it. So that's not. So basically, kind of that's huge is abnormal, basically.
An abnormal candle is anytime it's 2 to 3 times the subsequent candles.
Oh, okay. Subsequent. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. Okay.
And now we're getting pressure on the top, pressure on the bottom. We're basically coming into a triangle, which means it'll break out here. My gut says it's going to break out to the upside. However, I'd want to see it drop down into here before I get into buys. Why is that?
Drop down into here?
Yeah.
Because there's a resistance there, or a floor.
Right.
So it trade to where it bounces back.
Right. And here I may just do this because I'm so light that there's 2 pips between here and here. So if it's still playing this triangle, it's going to come back down into there.
Yeah.
Also,
makes
you
sense.
you sold it.
I did sell it.
Okay.
And I probably shouldn't have done that one, but that's okay.
It is hitting a ceiling, you're hitting a resistance.
So I'm going to move this guy up just a little
And
bit.
if it's going to do the triangle, it'll compress down a little bit at some
right.
point.
So that's kind of what I'm at. And I'm not in very heavy. I got like 3 trades on, only a 0.6. But what that does for me psychologically is it tells me that I'm in and I'm trading.
You got you engaged.
And you're so
I'm
chill
engaged.
about it.
I'm
You know, it's like you're
engaged.
just like, hey, I'm trading. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not engaged, then I'm just sitting here waiting, and that bothers me just to not do anything. So I'll get in really light because now I'm sucked in, I'm pulled in, and I got to really
Yeah.
focus on the market.
That
right?
makes sense.
But if this does bump up to here and I take 3 losses on a 0.6, I'm okay with
So
that.
what? Because you just had like 30, 40 wins.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
Very cool.
anticipating it to drop down to here. If it does, then I'll be buying. But because it was up here, I'm still thinking it's going to be doing this thing. So that's why I'm buying, selling, not really picking a direction because the market's not picking a direction right now. However, I fully anticipate the market to pick a direction here.
At some point. I was talking
within
to
the next
it was
minute or a couple minutes.
Nate and somebody about Bollinger Bands, and Nate was talking about how it's actually the opposite of what you think. You don't wait for it to bounce on the outside. The Bollinger Band is there to tell you when you're going to get a breakout. So when it gets really narrow, get ready for the breakout.
Exactly.
I never used a Bollinger Bands, so I don't know.
I grew up with them, so I learned how to trade with the bands. So I understand them really good and the pivots, but this is how I trade now. I trade support and resistance, floors and ceilings.
Oh wow, we did it. Look at that.
Yeah, so now I'm going to go
See,
the
we're
opposite
getting stressed about
direction.
nothing, man.
Huh?
We get stressed about nothing.
Yeah.
We just,
So now I'm just going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to probably put a few more on because I believe that it's going to go.
So basically, you like it when the thing is in a small channel going up and down, like.
Oh, I love
because
that,
You're
yeah.
gonna sit and make a bandit.
For sure. I like movement, right?
See, it's a whole different philosophy. I'm
Yeah.
used to having
So,
like one
and
direction and go
And you
with it.
asked me earlier price and time cycles, right? So here, my price and time cycle is my price is 8, 9, 10. So I'm between 8 and 10 pips, right? Price and time cycle. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, 6, 7 minutes between 10 pips. So that tells me that it's moving between every 5 to 10 minutes, I can get 8 pip movement. So that tells me that if it goes against me by 4 or 5 pips, that's okay, because it's going to come back the other way because
Wow.
price and time cycle.
It's a whole different.
Does that make sense?
It's a whole
Yeah.
different philosophy, yes, but it's just against what I was,
But if it goes against me 10 pips, or let's say 15 pips, then I need to start being like, okay, I'm in fix-it mode.
So as far as like, for example, on your, I don't want to totally cross out your screen, but like the big expansion down earlier. So if you were in there doing this, how do you save yourself from that big expansion? Is wait and hit it on the next consolidation? Because you're basically you're trading consolidations then. You're not waiting for expansions, right?
I'm
you're waiting
trading,
for
I'm
abnormal
trading what
candles,
the
but-
market is giving me. And right now I'm in consolidation, so I'm trading up and down. I'm buying and selling because I'm trading consolidation. Fully anticipating for us to get a breakout. If we do see that breakout, I am now biased on the buy. I'm not trading shorts. I'm not trading consolidation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm only trading what the market is telling me to trade right
Sometimes
now.
that's the hardest thing to see because you want to see your thing so bad, you
Yeah.
don't see what it's giving you.
And I totally get that, and I struggle
Look
with
at
that.
that,
Like,
look at
I have to be right, and so I'm not budging. Market, you need to come back to me.
Right.
And then when it does do that, that's the worst thing as a trader.
It's
Because then
rewarding
it reaffirms your
behavior.
mistakes.
It reaffirms your mistakes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are these recording? Okay, perfect. How's the audio?
Oh, we've been recording?
Yeah.
Glad my language didn't get out of hand.
We can bleep you
I
out.
was like, the camera was on?
You put an FBI face on.
Okay.
Stay just like that.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Man.
I didn't get in really heavy, so I'm not really getting the big gains that I like, but
But you're getting wins.
I'm getting wins.
Okay, so let me ask you this: how do you
Just stack
practice this small without getting your ass kicked?
Just by going in small.
Keep your
and
risk really small.
Keep your risk really small.
So that's what happened. I was telling these guys before when I had a $5,000 account 5 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was putting $10 a pip, and I just got creamed. I blew out that account within 6 months.
Yes.
So learning how to go into a smaller position size has been a big help.
So the same thing too here, and this is what you can do for if you're really, like right now, I'm really feeling like we're going to get a breakout here sometime soon, and so I am going to adjust my stop loss, and I'm going to put it right there. Meaning that if we do see a huge run up,
You've got breathing room.
it's gonna knock me out at 11 pips, because if you look back at the chart right here, or the 5 minute or whatever, when it does break to the upside, there's a good chance that we could get a large break, and it could probably come up to here, which is 40 pips. I don't see that happening.
Well, not given where the resistance is. You should be able to move in there pretty well.
If it breaks through here, it's
yeah.
probably going to go all the way up there.
Right,
and it
because that's when
That's the next level.
right. It could do that in one move. I don't think it will do that in
Not
one move.
this time of
Not
day,
this time of
probably
day.
not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I could put my stop loss there in case I need to walk away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't usually walk away when you do this.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying
Like, no?
that's a safety stop. But
Yeah.
you can see normally my stops are my stops. I don't know why it's at 50. I usually have them at 30.
So when you're waiting for your abnormal candles, you're getting into a trade anyway, just to trade it. So you're engaged.
Yeah. So I'm engaged. I don't like being bored when I'm trading.
Look at that.
Right. So. And then just keep.
So now you're
going
gonna go
back,
up now.
Just going back the other way.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's a hard thing for me to do is to bounce the opposite direction. I'm so used to try to following a trend.
Yeah, I know, me too.
yeah,
But
this,
I'm beginning to see the benefits right now.
this doesn't really have. This market is just really different right now
It's just wandering around.
because it's wandering around, which I fully anticipate a breakout up or down. My bias is up because we're overbought, but it doesn't mean that it will be up. So it could be up or down. And if I'm caught on the wrong side of that, I gotta have my finger on the X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I'm like,
Oh, you can move the X?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So I usually like to have it over
Yeah,
here.
me too.
so
I
it's
saw
like-
Don't
that
do it
on
when you're
my-
in trades though, because you can actually press it and get all of your trades. If you're non-trades, just grab it and drag it over.
Yeah,
you can do it when you're all in green, though.
Yeah. That's fun.
I'm loving this
So-
boot camp.
So let me ask you this: what other currency than the euro you would wobble with? I mean, I saw Sean wobble the euro yen yesterday, which was pretty nice. I like the euro yen.
So basically, when you wobble or you look for 2 pip moves, 3 pip moves,
Uh-huh.
and so if you have spreads that are 1 or 2 in spreads,
Uh-huh.
that kind of makes it
That's kinda
difficult
makes it
wobble,
difficult.
right?
So basically,
it's a lot of
looking
risk
for,
for
for
wobble.
under a half or a 1 spread.
Yeah, with volatility, right? So I mean, you rarely see at 123 that we're getting 2 pips up, 2 pips down, but we're getting that, and so it's like it knew I was trying to teach you principles, so it's really helping me out
Sure.
right now.
So let me ask you this:
I talk to the market all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, go, go, go.
when you're trading your own account with a different broker, you're not going to find a half pip on the euro. I mean, what is
You're not. You're not.
How do you wobble?
So when I
You
wobble,
can't? I don't know if you can.
well, you can if you're in an offshore account. So I do trade my own money too.
Well,
And-
I really should. I mean,
And I go for 3 pips. on there
okay.
because one is usually eaten up by the spread.
So you don't
told me where
have-
you do your account. So how long have you been with them?
Since August.
So are you like happy with them?
Yeah, I mean, I started with a small account because I didn't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with like $1,200, and then I made it 15. I pulled that all out just to see if I could pull it all out.
And being an offshore, you don't have the first in, first out rules.
Right. No.
Nice.
No, actually, can I ask you a question? So if Awanda is basically a Canadian account, right? I mean, Canadian company. So if I signed up with them as a Canadian, I don't have to have those rules,
job.
right?
No, if you're a Canadian
Oh,
citizen,
sweet. Then I'll
it's,
do
it's,
Awanda
it's
then.
U.S. citizens
Yeah.
only.
So
that
I
are
can always use
subject
my
to it.
Canadian passport and do that.
Well,
And
citizenship.
yeah.
Yeah, you're a citizen of Canada.
Canada, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so if I'm only United States, I had no ANDA account for MT4, but I can't trade.
If you're a U.S. citizen, they can't. You're inside brokers that are inside the United States, or sometimes even if they're not, and you're a U.S. citizen, they won't allow you to trade. So
Ah.
that's why I trade with somebody in I think they're from Greece, but they don't have those rules.
Okay.
But they can be sketchy. So that's why I
Right, 'cause
pulled
the Greece economy is a little sketchy.
that's why I
right?
pulled my money out to see if I could pull money
Yeah.
out.
Right.
I'd rather be in Canada than in Greece, to be honest.
So that's why I was like everybody. I was talking to all the traders, Sean, Todd, like make sure you can pull your money out. And
Another
I
question.
didn't know that until I had done it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pull my money out.
Another question for you. Like Awanda has two options where it's only spread, and or you can pay a fee per trade. Which would you do?
Definitely with this, I would do the
the
spread,
spread, yeah,
because
because
I'm
you're
stacking
doing a
my
lot,
trades. I'm trading a ton.
Answer my own question.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Because the broker I use too, they have the same thing where you can buy down the spreads, but
But it's not worth it that
yeah,
much,
it's not
yeah.
worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually on like the Euro USD, if I'm usually a full point higher than whatever Alvio
exactly.
is,
Uh-huh.
So if you were trading your own $50,000 account, would you be trading 0.1s?
A 50,000?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, so I trade a $10,000 account on Alvio and personal. So I'm doing pretty good in my personal. So I made started with $1,200 and now I'm at about 12,000
Wow.
since August.
This past August,
Very
6
cool.
months ago.
Yeah.
10 months ago. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get that to 50,000 before touching it.
But yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Just rolling it and stacking
So
it.
I know looks can be
now
deceiving.
Now you're gonna go up, right?
Yep.
I
So
know-
why am I going to go up?
Because
Because it went down.
It went
Well,
down.
not only, but what am I
You're at
looking
support.
at?
You-
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's channel right now.
I'm at support.
Uh-huh.
We've kind of broken out of that pyramid, that triangle that I thought it was making, or that wedge.
Right.
So it's going wide. So, and because it's jumping down here. Now, if Foley could break that, which it just might, and it come down here, but I'd still be buying. Why would I still be
Because it's
buying?
gonna
Because it's
bounce
still
back.
hitting support.
Right. But I probably adjust these, take profits, and take either a loss or minimize. So I'm still not getting in heavy, right? When I haven't not seen, you saw only over here. Remember when you saw this right here?
Right.
I got in really heavy. You saw
Okay.
me just, and that's where I made.
Yeah, my Alvio won't let me tap that fast.
Right, but I got in really heavy right here because I knew that's a high probability trade setup.
Right.
Right here, I'm not getting in that heavy, right?
Right.
Right now, I'm probably in, I'm not, once I get to about a point of 50% of what I can trade with, that's when I consider heavy.
And this time of day, it's just going to probably
This
channel
time, I
anyway.
usually don't trade.
Hmm?
This time, I usually don't
Yeah.
trade. So this is like
Yeah,
bonus.
I mean, if you're trading right now and you're trying to go for 10 pips on one trade,
That's not going to cut it.
happen.
you're
You can go
you're
on 5
missed-
2-pip trades. Really.
Right, you
Yeah.
missed a ton of opportunities, didn't you?
Yeah.
A ton of opportunities if you take profits set at 10.
So can I ask you maybe a kind of random question, a random sounding question? So when I'm getting into a trade, it's a lot of like planning and stress, and I wonder, and like when I look at you trade, you're totally chill. You're just like, hey man,
done it
whatever,
before, what-
boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
times.
is that from experience or is that kind of?
I
Are
mean,
you
even
active?
if I was losing, I'd still be the same demeanor because I've learned through experience that even if I take a loss, I can make it back. There's always an opportunity, right? If I walked away and if it's going to do what I think it'll do and just go in one direction here in a second, and I'd end up losing all of the we just gained, that's okay because I know I can make it back.
And that's confidence based
Later.
on experience.
Yeah, because to me, 40% excuse me,
Half a point,
0.40,
oh.
half a point,
Not bad.
is not bad,
No.
but that's something I can make up pretty easy. And if I lose it all, blah.
And you're not gonna lose it
blah,
all,
blah.
actually. I mean, you're gonna lose part
Well,
of
I'll lose all of it if it drops straight down, and I have to get out because it's just
But the probability of that happening today is pretty rare.
yeah.
And then if that did happen, that's just another abnormal candle, and you just buy it.
Okay,
right?
so here's another one of my favorite setups right here.
Mhm.
Is when you're getting in and your profit is below this ceiling.
Right, because it's probably going to get back up
'Cause
there.
it's probably going to get back up there, and so I throw a few more on because I love this setup right here. The probability of it hitting here is much higher
And all the way
than
up.
it breaking here. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So
based on
So where price is right now,
There you go.
probability of it taking my profit here versus breaking this and losing is greater. Would you agree with that?
yes, but why would you say that?
Okay, so if it breaks here, there's no more data,
Right.
which it did. So
Sorry.
that's okay. That's an abnormal
Okay.
candle right there. So,
So
this
fade
is a
it.
good one. So fade it, and I'll wait a second and fade that.
And then you peel off.
So I'm gonna peel off these guys, but what I'm gonna do is
You're going to move them.
I think I'm in bias. Check all, continue. Okay. I'm gonna move them all. It's right there. See that? So I
Mhm.
still think the probability of it hitting here is great. So we just had this isn't what I call an abnormal candle, but it could be an exhaustion candle. And it depends on if this candle right here gets this and stops. If it breaks this, I'm hitting this. If it comes down, then I'd probably be needing to start to fix it mode. So right now, if it breaks above this bar,
It's probably going to have the momentum to keep going.
keep going, right? Which we need it to do. We got 10 seconds. Come on, you. Come on, candlestick.
The roof is
Well, that's not going to do it. Let's see if it'll do it on this next one. So the other thing that I can do sometimes too is I can jump into a cell right here
And just grab a few little ones
and
there.
grab a few little ones, right? Little minnows. But I think
It's gonna make it.
it'll make it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make it.
But now I put these all in losing positions, right?
Right?
But all of these are greater winning. So if I
Mhm.
get this, if I get this to hit that take profit, it totally wipes that bad trade out. Do you see that? And
Yeah.
I'm still profitable. So the other thing to look at too is like right here. If this goes green, if my unrealized pips go green,
That means you've wiped
I
out all
can
that.
get out and break even.
Yeah, I look for that a lot too. Like
You know?
sometimes if I can just get the total pips to just go positive, and so I know I wiped out losers.
Right. So it doesn't really matter. It means I broke even and I can just start trading again.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not going to call every single shot right 100% of the time, right? And so you need to have an exit strategy. What happens? So we need this to break here. If it doesn't break, we could be looking for a downturn because we're starting to get pressure on the top for it to come back down. And if it wants to do that, then fine.
You're gonna buy some more?
Like I said, I anticipated it to break. It looks like it wants to hold trend. We don't
So
have a
where's
lot
the next
of
point?
right
It's
to
right
here.
down there.
And so it could easily come from here to here, which is 12 pips. But remember, price and time cycle is basically there's my 8, there's my 7, there's my 11. So if it's going to follow
So
suit,
you're at the end of a time cycle.
exactly. Right? So if it's going to come back up, I'm only asking it to come up 5, not the entire
Right.
price cycle.
And that's like targeting 33% of the total. Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, all these things combined, what's the highest probability trade? Right here, what would you say, Sky, is the highest probability?
Based on the information with the time cycle that I never really thought of before, and the fact that you're hitting resistance, I would think that it would bounce back up.
Gonna go bounce back up, yeah.
Yeah. Or if it breaks through, it's kind of looking like it's rounding the curve though, a little
Okay.
bit, to where it
Yeah,
could
'cause
come
it's-
back down into this level.
Mm.
So if it does do that, and it breaks through right here, it's probably going to go all the way back down to here.
And then you can write it down if you want.
Well,
And then you can write it down.
what I do usually for my trading, again, is just a different strategy, but I've got the two HMAs on there, and if they're crossed in both red right now, I'm probably selling. But I'm always willing to learn new stuff. Especially because what I'm doing is working sometimes, but I saw this work a lot.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, see, look at that.
It has to break though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if we get a break of this high, then it'll go up. So that's why I look
There
at
you
this.
go.
Look at that.
So is it gonna break though? I mean, is the body a wick break isn't as solid? It's still good. I'll take a wick
Yeah.
break.
Well,
But
sometimes
you
it
want the
doesn't.
body to close above it.
It doesn't really get you out right when it hits either. You still
No.
got to wait for the market to take it.
So this is a good
There you
sign.
go.
Look at
That's a
that.
good
Come
sign.
on.
So we got 30 seconds before that
Yep,
kind
you- you
of
green.
Huh?
So yeah,
Ooh, it's touching it.
I still feel like it's gonna hit that take.
Yeah, me too.
But if it comes up here and stalls really close to it, I'll take it out because
Look at
there's
that,
another.
You're up 30.
That's
Yeah, 'cause you're
another technique too. Is on the stall. See how it's momentum right here. If it comes very close to my take profit, I'll just close out.
I think that the stall is like an indication of where the next resistance is going
Yeah.
to be. Look at
So,
that.
Yeah. So we just took.
Dude, great
Wow.
job.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually making sense. About
It's a very different way than
Yes,
I've ever
I
traded
know,
before,
me
but
too.
it makes sense.
So,
Hey, if it works, it makes sense.
And then just go right back in, and I'm gonna do this because we just had
A big
What
move-
goes up
big
must
move
come
up.
down.
Exactly.
so much nicer now that my dialogue boxes are on the front. In the beginning of the trading session, that was annoying.
So do you think that sometimes there's just like a paralysis of overanalysis?
Yes. a
Because I
lot.
mean,
Absolutely.
you're really just kind of, you're just
Absolutely.
looking ups and downs.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do that a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get over this week is just do it.
Just do it.
Mhm.
I think the thing that also helps you when you're stacking, I got 20 trades on. In the beginning, you're like, no way would I ever put 20 trades on. But as you do it,
Get used to
you
it.
get used to it, and so
Yeah.
you don't.
Well, also,
freak out.
like the thing that rocked my world with Apiary Fund is it's 20 trades, but it's not targeting huge amounts.
Yeah.
It's 20 trades with maybe a 5 pip target.
And generally, I
But
don't
they all
put
add
20
up.
trades on all in the same location. I kind of try to spread it, like right here. I'll spread it, and it'll still be the same trade. You know what I mean? Like, I love it when it pops up, and get your finger ready and right there.
Mhm.
So if it pops right up to here,
Oh, this is great.
I'm
You put
still,
down.
you know what I mean? Then I'll get it on the pop.
Yeah, because you're still hitting resistance.
Right. I'm still in the same trade, and I'll try and stack a few on, like 2 or 3 on the pops, right? And so you'll see that I'll have trades here, 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 because I got pops, just popped up, and I'll
So,
get it.
so basically, the best time to bubble is when the market is in a channel.
If you're getting these price and time
Yeah,
cycles of 5 to 10 pips,
uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
If you're not, you're,
Yeah, if
you're
you're
not
not-
Yeah,
getting.
if you're in a
exactly.
2-pip channel, you're not going to get anything out
But I'm
of it.
talking at least something that I can give you 3 pips each way,
Exactly. Oh, see, like there's a pop right there.
And it's easier to put the trades when you're up 26-7 points.
Yeah, it's a little less pressure.
It's
It's
less
like, oh, I
pressure,
might as
yeah.
well take some trades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna put that right there because I think it'd probably go right here. So I'm gonna just tweak it.
Did you just have a
You got
bunch of
some
cells
more,
take
yes,
it?
exactly.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I was right.
So right there.
Did you do well on Monday?
Uh-huh.
With that cluster
Yeah.
mass?
I didn't do as well as Sean, but I didn't trade during the day, like when it was happening, and I'm thankful that I didn't.
I think
Yeah,
it's an exercise if you do it to compare yourself against Sean. I mean, that's kind of like not good.
But I did while he was presenting at 2 o'clock. I traded the 2 to 3 o'clock hour, and in that hour I made 4%.
Wow.
So just that hour,
Just going back and forth.
because I was just sitting there waiting for you guys to come and do that little round table thing on Monday.
Yeah, because that initial big drop in the morning, that's abnormal, but there wasn't a lot of spring back, though. It was
at
just
that.
marching down, right?
So if it crosses this bar right here,
You're in good shape.
I'm in good shape,
You're going to clear out.
right?
Yes. That is flipping amazing.
If it doesn't, then that's okay. We'll see. I got 40 seconds before that bar closes. But that's what I wanted to do is cross this bar right there.
I think
cross that
my
bar,
goal as a
we're good.
trader is to be as relaxed as you are when you're doing this.
But do you see how I like price and time cycle?
Yeah.
I wasn't freaking out because it
And
was holding true.
I never used present time cycles because I never knew what they were. Yeah, so that's cool.
But now you do,
now I do.
right? And so that's why I don't usually use indicators. I just trade price and time cycle,
Yeah.
you know, or wobble,
Yeah.
right? So do you guys know what martingale is?
Yes.
I've heard
it's
that
basically where
dub-
you keep on adding to your losses.
he's doubling down on bad positions
Yeah.
is how it's been described to me before.
So a lot of people who don't understand the wobble technique will describe wobble technique as the martingale. So the question I have for you is what I was just doing right here. Why is it not martingale?
Because you're staying within a range. You're paying attention to your support and resistance, where that technique just, no matter what it does, you just keep doubling
And
down.
at some point you stop doing that because you get to your limit and you turn around and change directions. So you're not like basically throwing good money after bad money.
Well, I mean, if I was taking losses, there is a technique within the wobble technique that if I was taking losses, to immediately do that is to double my position size and get in, right? And because if I took a 2-pip loss and now I get a 4-pip gain, it wipes that loss out, right? And that is a
Yeah.
good technique, and Sean deploys that technique a lot when he's losing, and so that's why some people will confuse that with the
Well,
market.
look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Didn't
They were
quite
talking about
cross
that
it.
yesterday because they were talking about when you get to the next, if it keeps going against you, the lower levels get in heavier because you don't have to travel as far to break
As far
even.
as a break even.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And these are things that I just never thought about before.
So if it does cross over here,
You may get
I
some
may
more.
wipe all those out as losses, but then I could jump in a heavier
Right.
to get that back.
And when you go heavier, do you go heavier position size or just more trades
Um,
or more positions, I guess to say.
it depends on how the market and volatility is, but I'll do both. It just depends. But 9 times out of 10, it's more trades because it's easier for me
But
to
that big
click.
wick will go down.
It's easier for me to click than to change all the settings.
Right.
But it's going to go down. Look at the big wick.
But I think it means the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're just building a
Come
bigger
on.
position.
We're just waiting for it. It needs to cross right here, and we're in good shape.
Bless you.
Bless you, my child.
So how long did it take you to learn this wobble technique?
Truthfully, okay, so our first Trader on the Street episode was a year ago last January.
Mm-hmm.
So a year ago in January. And Sean did this, and I was on the other end of the camera. And I just had like the biggest aha moment.
Yeah, it
ever,
rocks your world, huh?
right? And I never knew you could trade like that,
Mhm.
you know? And then I had to take what he did and teach it.
Make it make sense to you.
It had to make
Yeah.
sense to
Yeah.
me before I could teach it, right? And so it's been, about a year since
It's not bad.
since I've been doing it. But it's only been a year. It's only been around for about a year. that we've been structuring it and teaching it in that way, so if that makes sense, you know.
I think it's stuck.
I think it's starting to shrink. Volatility is starting to shrink pretty bad. So what I'll do here is once I get down here, I'll probably just close out because the trading's not going to get any better.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I traditionally don't trade this time of day, but that's a good thing here.
Maybe that gets you down.
So how can you click
See,
that
when
much without
I
getting
do that, I
box?
get that box popping
Exactly.
up all the time.
Secrets.
No.
Yeah.
I just have to ask Ron
Yeah.
to give you the settings. He doesn't do it unless you ask me. He has no problem doing it, but he doesn't do it for everybody.
Right.
Because if everybody was doing that, it could bog
There'd
the
be
system
some real
down.
problems, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess with servers and
With
stuff.
servers and the amount of people that we have on. Doing
What I
it.
would like, although I could see I'd get a lot of people in trouble, is if have the dialog box come up and say how many trades you want to place at this point, put like type 5 in there, hit go, and then have it do 5 trades right there.
Majority of our traders tend to only have between 5 and 20 trades on
Yeah.
anytime. But if we all of a sudden flip the switch and the majority of them were doing 50 to 100, our servers would be kind
That's
of
true.
overloaded.
So I'd really like to do is do 100 1-pip trades. Just have to do 1 pip and boom, be done.
But But to me, I'm still under. Well, I'm just crossed my 50% threshold, but that's still one trade, right?
Yeah.
All of that is just one trade.
Yeah, one night I put on 38. I was just like tap, 38 one pip trades. I hit them. I was like, okay, 40 pips, yay. Only had to go up pip.
So here, it's like I put a bunch on,
Uh-huh.
and now we just hit those.
Nice. So that
Right.
helps make up for any
And
losers you
now,
might have.
if it crosses that,
Look
Which
at
it
that.
did.
It's going, it's going, it's going.
Wow.
Come on, take it.
Take
it, take it,
Wick.
take it.
Look, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
There you go.
So now it's like I'm up. I should have got out on that stall. I usually do. So
Let's come back down.
it will. But I think I'm just gonna close out.
Wow.
Dude, great job. Thank you very much.
So what? Less than an hour. I think we started at 1. 40 minutes up 3/4, 7.72. So I'd probably. What would I do here? And then you just show me what's the next play.
Get ready
Go
for the up.
You're gonna go up basically.
And you
Or
probably get
stop.
ready for the up somewhere around here, the
Yep.
your zone.
Right there.
Yeah, wait until
Exactly.
it gets down there and then right up.
So as it's driving down, you're waiting, and then when it springs back a little
Unless
bit.
we just get a ton of momentum and it breaks that, then I'm like cranking it up because it's an abnormal candle.
Sean brought that up in one of the meetings too. Is like one of the things about looking backwards, like after the fact, is you don't see the candles form, but when you're watching the candles and they're starting to shake, those can be indications, right?
Yep.
Flicker, yeah. I mean, being able to watch
That's why
that.
I got
That was
out.
yesterday.
Is because it was flickering and it
This
was
morning.
stalling.
Yeah.
And because on that, I'm like, I fully anticipated it to come back up into here, and I do. So if I was to buy, I would anticipate it to come to here, right?
Because that's the next level of resistance.
Right. And so on a buy, there's 2 pips, perfect, right? So this is where
because it
it
doesn't have to go that far up to
doesn't
get
have
there.
to go that far to get there, right?
Nice.
Still within the previous candle.
Yep. It's still within the subsequent candle, and that's the best trade setup that you can have.
The masters make it look easy.
Right? So, and so like I was saying, if I was going to go for 1%, I probably would have stacked a bunch of trades on right there. But I wanted to. I don't even know if that was what you needed to learn.
Yes.
From remember
Hey
what we
man,
were talking
anything,
about?
but but I'm learning so much. What camera's on right now? I'm learning so much at the boot camp. It's worth it. Go boot
Oh,
camp.
that's worth it. I guys, I knew that.
Well, we talked about like earlier, like me teaching you exactly what you're like, helping you out with some of your weaknesses. And I don't know if we did that.
Sure, because when I watch you do that, it's like I can do that. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be as good at it right out the gate, but I can learn this.
Right.
And so all the different things, like I was talking to Sean yesterday and one of the couch sessions, Apiary Fund gives you a huge toolbox to work with. A lot of these gurus that I've subscribed to, it's like, this is the one thing and this is what's going to happen, and that's all you learn, and you don't have a lot of support. You maybe get one webinar a month, and you're paying a lot of money. I pay a fee to Apiary Fund, and I'm getting 4, 5, 20 times the value that I ever got before, because there is so much support and so much education, and the toolbox, look at that thing go. The toolbox that I'm prepared to have and that I continue to add to it makes it priceless. It's just awesome.
When I came here, I said,
Did you see where? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
That's
did you
okay.
see how it got out right where it stalled, right there, and it didn't go down very far. I don't
But
even think
it got into that zone.
Did it hit my tick profit, my big tick, or did I get out?
You got out.
No, it hit it.
It hit it? Okay.
Well, no. I mean,
thought you closed out.
I closed out before, but did the bar
I didn't
actually
even
go
notice.
down past the zone that I had it
It
at?
did, yes.
Okay. Because I was thinking, because I got out right here where it stalled, but I thought my take profit was right here.
No,
but
it did
I
take
don't
the
know.
whole thing out, I think.
Okay, it would have hit it. So that's what I'm saying. Anyways, what were you saying? The thing that you noticed?
when I watched the wobble before, I'm never going to able to do that, but now I'm actually seeing that there's a concept that I can actually
Yeah.
follow.
It's doable. You just got to
Doable.
practice
I
it.
just practice, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to our
I couldn't change the taillights on my car, and I watched a YouTube video and I practiced it, and now I can do it. See?
YouTube certified. YouTube certified. But you see here, like those ones I just took,
What's wrong with
I
that?
still made 1 pip
Yeah,
on
what's
it,
wrong with that?
right?
But
Nothing
I
wrong with
think
that at all.
So,
Those add
but
up.
again, now you got, took a loss there on
Oh,
one of
geez.
them, a few losses here.
it's easy to take losses when you take that many wins.
Yeah, or
This is like, who
like
cares?
your losses are less than a pip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Losses less than a pip, and then, but overall, that's how you win. You take strategic losses, and I didn't really care.
So now basically when this comes up here, you're going to write it down, right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, so the thing that worries me, but I'm not worried about it, but it would be more concerned about it during the daytime than right now,
That's more volatility.
is that it's gonna break this or this at some
Eventually,
point.
yeah.
At some point,
It's going to go. Because
And
if you
so-
went up on a higher time frame, that would just be one little blip.
And so you cannot have a strategy based around you playing within this range, right? But for all intents and purposes, this range is really, if you look at the 5-minute chart,
It's kind of like a descending
Yeah.
channel.
Draw your support and resistance lines.
but
in
this
trading.
range is really right
It's
right
holding.
here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The range is right there. And so if you go up and down on that range, but eventually if it breaks here,
It's going
or
to go.
if it breaks here, I get out and I'm
Yeah,
done
you-
trading.
you-
I'm not going to trade that because it's an outside range.
You want to go in the direction?
I won't go in the direction
Huh, interesting.
because it's an outside range. Because I have no
Okay,
more.
explain to me again what's an outside range.
When you have no more data,
On that
to the-
light.
right?
Now,
So
if you were a trend trader,
The-
you would take that though, right? If it broke out, would you take the sell on that?
if you're, I hate trading when there's no more data to the
Right.
left. If it breaks up, there's data here.
Data.
Right,
okay.
it's true.
Right?
It's true.
Okay, so that's what outside range is. I kept
Well,
saying
no,
that,
you
like,
can
what
get
the-
outside ranges anywhere, up or down. An outside range basically it says here's that range of trading. If it's outside this or outside that, it's an outside range. But what I hate doing is when you get into an outside range when there's no more data to the left. That's when I say I'm done trading.
So you wouldn't go to like a daily chart to look for levels at that point?
I
or-
would, but I'd probably go to another pair
Right. Okay.
because I like trading with the 1 minute and I
Right.
like having the 1 minute give me what we
Yeah.
just
So why change your style?
Yeah, exactly. So what we just witnessed is like we had a lot of floors and ceilings in that little tiny hour trading session.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, I wouldn't know. Like I was saying, I think it's going to come down to here. I think it's going to easily break that. I think it's going to do that. If I don't have that data to tell me that it's going to do this and it's going to do that, I'm not trading it. It's
I
not
see,
worth
yeah,
it.
I see.
It's not worth it to me. I'll wait until the market does give me that data because it will eventually, right? And if I'm a long-term trader or a trend trader, you love this stuff,
Yes.
right? But let's take a look here for a second. I'm going to draw a chart. So here's a range right here. Here's a downtrend right there. Here's a range. Here's an uptrend right there where it just shoots up. And here's a range right there. There's another range. There's a shoot up. And there's another range. And there's
think I know where you're
another
going with
range.
this.
Huh?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay, so where am I going with this?
So the market is in consolidation or ranging way more than it ever does the expansions. So if you're trading the ranges, your probabilities there, as long as you're comfortable with it, are probably going to be greater.
Yeah, but always being cognizant that it could break out.
Yeah. If
But
it
when
breaks
you-
out, just get out.
And when it breaks out, get out. Right? Or if your
Or-
strategy
or-
says
or
trading the
trading the
breakouts.
breakout, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can
You
always
could-
basically wobble and then break out with it,
Well, if I was trading a breakout, I'd have a trade here and a trade here
like it's
with no
Like a
take
pending
profit
order or whatever?
Yeah, pending order with no take profit and a trailing stop.
so basically you can always do that. Then find the outside range and then put a order
Can.
going up,
Yeah.
put order going down, and then
And I
wobble
think
until
your
it
longer
breaks
term
it.
traders, I think, do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And
There's
if
something
you're
in B-line
and if
talking
you're
about
gonna walk away, like you're gonna walk away and you can't trade for a day or two, that's not a bad strategy because you're trading.
And actually,
You know.
I can't walk away because if I walk away, then I'm stressed out about it. What was it doing?
But you see what I just
Yeah.
did inside of an hour. There were so many opportunities for 2 pip moves that there wasn't for 3 or 4 pip moves.
right.
so basically, if you want, you can actually do that and then do the outside orders heavier.
Sure.
Like do whatever you want to do.
Sure.
So heavier,
You can make them your 1 or 2
and
trades.
Take 15, 20 points.
Well,
you know,
And one of the things that
profit.
Apiary lets you do, and Alveo lets you do that other places won't, because you don't have to worry about the first in, first out. You can set up your pending orders for
Yes,
the
first.
breakout, and then just trade
And
the
then wobble.
channel,
That's
and then
what
if it
they're
does
saying.
take off,
That's what we're just saying.
that's your contingency plan.
Exactly. See, I can do that. I can feel comfortable doing that. Because I mean, I've traded breakouts before. They're actually fun.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't just because I get in and out and I'm done trading for the day.
because you're
Well, I
Dave.
mean, yeah, if you
and
can
that's
make
your
1% doing
That's my
this,
thing.
or 1.5% doing this without having to worry about breakouts, that's
I
fantastic.
mean, seriously, what other instrument do you know that you can make 1% a day on your money?
Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. That's
So why are we not satisfied with it?
I don't know.
Why are traders like 2%, 3%? Because
I mean-
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Just,
It's because they lost 5%.
Right.
so, I mean,
It's
that's
because
like
they're trying
20% a month.
because they're trying to recover their losses.
If you make 1% on average, that's 20%
Well,
a month.
So-
It's 20%
There's
a
nothing
month.
out there that
There's
can give you
nothing.
that.
Exactly.
Not even a year, not even in 5 years.
Yeah.
My mom's HOA in her housing complex put in a $5,000 savings deposit 10 years ago. They went and cashed it in a couple weeks, made $200.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stupid.
It's like,
you can make that 1
yeah,
hour.
and what? No, I was telling her, I'll trade it. Give me the $5,000. I'll get you $200 in a day.
Exactly.
Well,
Well, yeah.
maybe a little overconfident for me right now, but later on.
Maybe in a year time.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. So you guys get that. And I think
Yes.
when traders say that I go for 2, 3, 4%, to me, I'm like, because I did there, but I was in that mindset. To me, it's like you're putting yourself in the market so much and so long. Like for me to get 4%, I would either have to get a big swing. I'd have to ride this whole thing with the lot on, right? Which, as we know, doesn't really happen. And when are you going to be able to predict that that's going to happen? Or I have to put a ton of these little 2-pip trades on
Right.
to get the
Or
2
trade something like the pound yen that kind of moves 50, 60, 80 pips.
But my one point is
Which
that
I
I'm
like
in
to do.
longer.
Right.
In order to get 4%, I'm in the market longer
yeah.
than
And
I
if you're
am
in
trying
longer,
to get
you're
1%.
exposing yourself to the
Exposing
market
more,
longer,
yeah.
so your risk is higher.
And so there's always an opportunity.
Look at that big wick is going to turn around.
So there's always an opportunity for me, like I said. Remember, like this one or this one, I'm like, it should go up, and it didn't. Remember that?
Right.
But I was in buys and it went down, and I'm like, oh, we're okay still, but it didn't do what I thought it would do. The longer you're in the market, the more times it's going to do what you don't think it's going to do, and if you don't have the experience to get out, then don't play in the market that long.
Well, then also, I mean, I think if you're going for the larger amounts, sometimes it's just kind of greedy because, like, if you get 1% on the first day of the month trading, you know, by the end of the month, if you're compounding that 1% every day, but you're compounding a larger account balance because you're a couple $100,
true.
then you're going to end up with a lot of money at the end of the
Yeah.
month.
So that 20% is really
about 35.
Yeah, because it's compounded.
It's
Yeah.
compounded.
And you're
Because
not-
you're going to go with 2%
But your
every day
exposure to the
and
market
do
is
the
still
math.
very
Yeah,
minimal
exactly.
because you're only doing like an hour.
Look at that, it's going down. So I'm going to practice this on my off time.
I'm going
So-
to practice this in the afternoons when it's slower like
it's the
this.
best time to practice actually.
I'll set up some shotgun trades
uh-huh.
because those tend to you just kind of walk away from those anyway.
So
And then
the
do this.
thing is too is you can do this on a $2,500 account. You can do this on a $1,000 account,
Yeah.
right? It just I never went over my 50% rule except for that one time that I showed you, right? And that was because it went all the way to the top
Yeah,
and
it's
it was
crazy.
coming down. And so I will take advantage. I'll go over that 1% rule if I'm confident that the trade's going to break, right?
Look at that, it's going down.
Or I have a higher probability that it'll break. I'll also go over that 1% rule if I need it to help me to break to fix it mode. Like we never got into fix it mode because we didn't need to.
All right, that's a good thing.
But I will get in heavier if I need to fix trades. The whole thing of like I'll double that to a 4.
Because you can fix them
I
faster
can fix
with a
them
smaller
faster
move.
with a smaller move, exactly, which will eat up more of what I can trade with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's see, we made almost 600 pips in an hour.
Uh-huh.
So
Way
that's
to
not
go,
bad.
dude.
Not bad.
Thank you very much for
That
the
was very
education.
fun. I was very, very helpful.
But seriously, what other job could all of us sit here for an hour and have fun and laugh and make money? I trade because of my family.
What does that mean to you?
It means everything. Being able to support my family is the reason I breathe oxygen every day.